to start the meeting, right?
Yes, call to order.
Call to order.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Okay, Marty Basic.
Here.
That's Jim Capucci.
Present.
Ryan Crater.
Here.
Tom Provins.
Here.
Andrew Rencley.
Here.
Kevin Repchek. Aaron Risden.
Yes.
Jason Ruggles is on his way and Elaine is not here. Okay.
So first would be the minutes from last meeting, correct?
Correct.
So we need someone to move to accept.
To accept the meeting?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
They were controversial.
And detailed.
That's good.
It's on purpose.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So then we move into commissioner report, and she's not here. Right?
No, citizens'
For
comments.
citizens' comments, any citizens here?
I did print out this time.
Thank you, sir.
Do you need my glasses too?
I have mine. Thank you. Any citizens wishing to comment, speak now. Okay. Seeing none, we will then move into chairperson's report. The only report really we have is the continuation of the discussion on the sewage or the trash, which we'll get to the number 6 old business.
Right.
So let's hold off on that, which gets us to the commission.
She's not here.
She's not here.
She's in a Tampa type environment as well.
I feel for her, so.
I didn't recognize the island she said she's on. I was like, I don't know where that is, so.
But it's not,
It
we
flew
know
out,
it's not
it flew out
Neville.
the file cabinet. Not Neville
It's
Island.
not Neville.
Or 3 Mile, either one.
Yeah, or 3 Mile. Which then gets us to our staff liaison, which
Yes, that's us.
is great.
So we're just in the midst of finalizing all the financial reports for the year, which include the annual comprehensive financial report, which is the largest one. We then also do the annual report, which goes in the magazine, so that's being finalized now. And then we also do the state required reportings. Those are due April 1st. So we're in the midst of doing all of those. So some of them are pending final review, so we're just busy with that. We're in the middle, I'm busy with re-hauling and redoing our tax software. So I'm building it from scratch with our current ERP system. So we're working with the software company to develop some nice features that'll make it easier for us to do. So they're hopefully benefiting as we are by developing these automations and things like that for us on our back end. AccuFund is the name of it, yeah. Yeah, so they're a nonprofit government ERP, and I've been on a first name basis with the owner for probably 15 years now, and it's helped, right? So when we had this
Flex and say, make this all I want.
yeah, so we switched, if you looked at your tax bill, or receipt,
Absolutely.
it has changed in the last couple of years, and we collect
That
this.
nicer formatting, that was you.
No, actually, that was a programmer that took, yeah, that's a long story off camera.
Don't feed them.
Yes, but we changed softwares to a company called iGov, just as a little history for it, from a DOS-based system. So we had a DOS-based system to another DOS-based system, and we had that for a good 7 to 8 years. And then we went to a company called iGov. And the beauty was that they specialized in tax collection. So we got all good recommendations, everything. We were going well, and we were 75% of the way into the implementation. We bill out June 1st. They got bought by OpenGov on March 1st-ish timeframe. And my reaction was not a good one because I knew what was coming and it's been proof positive. So we had to look we were not happy almost within 6 months. We were like, we got to get out of this. All the support changed. So that's where we're now busy with that. So, but we're at the final stages. We're ready to bill June 1st. We're already ready. We have that ready to go. It's kind of the other nice pieces that need to come. We're building, our IT manager has built an automation which can upload all the bills at once to a website so that you can still have those types of online viewing and all those things. So we've pre-planned all those things, so they're all coming together now. So that's what we'll be busy with for the next couple months, or at least I'll be busy with.
So this program will include all the bills that go out from the township.
So it's already the program that we use for your stormwater and tax collection.
Okay.
But taxes are more complicated. They're not as straightforward when you have change orders, homestead, and quite frankly, we would have been with AccuFund if we only collected the municipal tax and we didn't collect school district. If we didn't collect school district, I would have done this 10 years ago. It's because the school district is more complicated with homestead exemptions and installments. Installments is the big one. We have about 1,500 to 2,000, depending on the year, of people that opt into installments.
Wow.
And those, a lot of people don't even know about them because they may be mortgaged, right? So they might not even know what an installment is or that it's even available because you actually don't see the bill, right? If you have a mortgage property, you wouldn't see a bill because we send the bill directly to the bank. And so that's the biggest hurdle for us is really refining, and that's what right now the development piece is. That's what we've built to work, so that we have an automation that we click a button that says, okay, do this, build the installments when they happen. Because Elaine, I can't bill you, and then also, I don't know if you're gonna do an installment. And I don't know if you're a mortgage company, if you're a self-pay. We don't know those things, so it's gotta react. And
So those
so,
aren't like reportable data points?
correct, it's 1 year you could be installment and next year you're not. I don't
So
know.
you don't know till you know.
You don't know till you know, so we've got to build a on-the-fly solution that can do that effectively, and I think we have that solution. And so that's the relationship I've built with the software, and I've used this particular software for my entire career. So they were willing to do it, so it's been an interesting process.
Thanks for the tip. So if I pay installment, I don't get a second bill, I won't pay it.
Yeah, exactly right, but you'll get 2 other bills, don't worry. Yes. Yeah.
As an installment payer, there is a big waste of paper and postage. It's ridiculous how much information goes out.
You'd be surprised at how, there's only 2 things there's only 2 mailings that are required. Is your first initial bill and your bill after face tax. So when you've been applied penalty, those are the 2 mailings we're only required. But we do a mailing, the first mailing, we do one after discount period, we do one after penalty, and we do one after the first of the year. Yes, yes we are.
Keep the post office.
Yes. Well, and that's where so you'll see a LEBO alert here in the next month or so. So if you're a self-payer, please do this. But we're going to start doing to where you'll be able to get alerted via text message or email if you sign up and register. You can get notified via text message that your bill's ready and that you can go on and pay and those types of things. So we're trying to enhance those as well as we're moving to this process because we have a lot more control over it.
It's the 21st century. So.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. It's not. They want it. We're doing it the inexpensive way, but we have control over it. Whereas when we were with the iGov to OpenGov side, it's all dependent on them, and they haven't developed that piece of it. You would think that big of a company would have already have an alert. No, they don't have an alert system.
Because somebody else would want it, yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing it, and we're doing it our way. So I think it'll be good. We have the wherewithal to do it here. So, sorry.
So it's the real estate tax that's the killer, though, is what you're saying.
What do you mean?
In terms of just,
School tax.
well, but also just keeping track of everything.
Yeah. Because you have change orders during the middle of the year, right? What do you do about change order? There's a whole matrix of what we have to do depending on the change order and the new date, because new dates happen, right? So if you have a change order and it increases your property, well, now you get, a 60-day discount period from the date we process it. And then you have so there's all these things that we have to account for that we don't have to do on the stormwater and trash side.
And EIT, right? EIT is pretty.
Right, yeah, so, but I think it'll be a much better solution overall, so, for us and the taxpayer, which is we're also gonna we're gonna be able to email a receipt, so if you want a receipt, just put an email address down, we'll be able to email it right to you. As soon as we process it, you'll know exactly when your check's about to clear, it's because we've processed your check, those types of things, so, all those things are coming.
Cool. So that gets us to, first of all, I defer to our chairman,
No, go ahead, please.
but
I apologize for running late.
defer to old business. which obviously is the existing, which is the never-ending story of trash. Yes.
We're close, though. We're close.
I think so.
I need my cheat sheet better for this.
Sorry, I got a cheat sheet now, so we're good.
So I have I printed those out too. All right. If you don't mind if I'll kind of start here. So from your guys' spreadsheet and everything you guys put together, I made a few amendments that we talked about. So I looked at the personnel side of it. So I made a few adjustments on the personnel side of the way we're kind of set up in Public Works. So if we assume Public Works and they're going to be in the labor force and within the contract, there's usually a crew leader that goes with the laborers. We also, depending on if it's a large enough crew, we may have a foreman, but that's more the administrative piece that we had. So I bumped up the administrative piece to be more at the superintendent level as opposed to the foreman. That could go down, but if you're going to be conservative, it would be at the superintendent type level for it, but then have 2 crew leaders and 11 crews. So it didn't change the number of people that we talked about. Now, on our crews, crew leaders are doing similar jobs to the laborers, but they're leading a crew, right? So they're a crew leader. So I included those and things we talked about when I reviewed those. The insurance side, I separated a couple of those out. So the insurances that you see here on my sheet comparatively to what was prepared is workers' comp separated into that 40% number that we had for a fringe benefit rate. That would be in that number. So I separated that out. So that'd be part of that number. So that's where the 140 then leaves for all the vehicle insurances, liability insurances, all those other things that we need for all the insurances. So I also did the leases for the 7 vehicles, for the 7 that we had at the average price. So that's for all 7 vehicles, all purchased at the same time. Obviously, that assumption can change depending if, how you leased it, if you bought used to start, and so on and so forth. There's various different ways, but if you did all new based on the prices that we're able to assume, that's all 7 trucks being leased at the same time for that amount. So didn't change anything about the fuel when it comes to it or maintenance, but those were the primary changes that I looked at when reviewing. So it was good. I think I also reviewed after Kevin had sent the Latrobe. You guys had talked to Swissvale, and I looked at West Mifflin. Looked at one other one. Which other one did I look at? North Fayette or North Strabane? One of the 2 budgets was online. I don't think we're too far off budgetarily from what they were projecting. Now, mind you, some of them have been collecting for a long time, so a lot of these upfront costs, so on and so forth, are already built in, either being paid for by taxes or fees at a prior year. But I don't think the preliminary cost of $3.7 million is too far off from where, based on what their size is, and if you scaled up from their size. So
I just have a net, considering where fuel prices are, so you have 3.25 for the diesel, right? It's not, unless you have a contract.
we do,
3.25.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we have, there's a scaled pricing that, based on, but yeah.
Decreased amount of cost they're getting for.
Right, yeah, clearly.
Well, on these costs too, these don't look per se as upfront, they look like they're ongoing. We're always gonna pay salaries, so
Correct.
it's not even necessarily startup costs.
No.
Well, the leasing, of course, right.
Yeah, so how are these private companies, like the one we have to deal with, making any money if our estimated costs are what we're paying them? I mean, is our wages that much more astounding? Because
Where's the
1.363.
scale?
Yeah, 1.363, we hiring, what, 20 more people? I mean,
That was 13 more people.
Average compensation, 100,000 a year.
With overtime, because they're not just going to be working 8-hour shifts. I mean, to get that amount of garbage in and out, and that's based on a 40%, it's the workers' comp rate. So, an average salary for a laborer is going to be in the high 60s, maybe low 70s, but then you have.
The only reason why I say this, looking at publications for waste management job postings, they're $22 to $24 an hour. That's what they're hiring their haulers.
Yeah.
I don't think they're having $100,000 compensation packages and everything, so I just.
We would be an attractive employer for the employees.
The type of employee you're attracting, that this is a career employee versus a this is my last shot job,
Right.
potentially.
And you did mention too about the flexibility, like it could be a public works employee, or they could be lateral, like, hey,
Right.
they can work in other capacities as well.
Potentially, yeah, because
If need
the way
be.
we have the scale here with 2 extra employees, that they wouldn't always be on a
You
truck.
know, like
Correct.
storm cleanouts, heavy snow days, always having that,
Right.
like the current, okay.
Correct. Yeah, that was just based on that side of it.
Well, you would know that side, that's why I was asking, how
Yeah.
many people,
And I think the biggest thing is I think a 40% clip on fringes is because of that workers' comp rate.
Yeah.
I mean, they're one of the highest comp rates, if not the highest comp rate out there, so we'd have to factor that in.
But it's fair to say the 3.7 is, I wouldn't say, I mean, aggressive in the sense that we're trying to be like, whatever the cost is, we're kind of overshooting.
Correct.
So it's not, which is,
Not to say, hey, we can save 300 grand, well, in the grand scheme of things,
We're lucky
You know.
within 300 grand. But
that could quickly disappear with fuel costs and,
Sure.
you know, those types of things, so.
Maintenance breakdown.
Right.
Yeah, maybe we have to come up with like an escalation number to put for this.
Yeah, I think, so the other costs that aren't included are those inflationary to get to 2029, right? So that would be at 2029, as you can see, they're at 4.3 million in 2028, our current hauler, right? That's the number that we're paying in 2028. So we would need to get to a, 2029 number.
Is that about 3.5%, 4% a year?
Yeah, we could use an assumed number there. And then things that we didn't settle on was the storage costs, building acquisition and land acquisition for the storage of the vehicles. And then if the commission were to want to move some of our trucks or all of our trucks to an automated portion, there's a whole, over $1 million cost in bins that isn't included here, that we would have to factor in. Also, not a huge cost, but something that is a cost is dumpster collections. So there's a lot of dumpsters in our contract that are part of that. So all the municipal buildings, parks, the public works yard, we have roll-offs that are just sitting out there that we dump and they come and pick them up, and that's all in that 4.3 million. Whereas if we did it on our own, we would have to absorb those costs, buy dumpsters, and still pay that service. So when we were with Waste Management before, it was to the tune of 36 to 45 grand, depending on the year. If we had a huge storm, it went to 45 because the roll-offs were getting filled up more often, and storms and those types of things. But if not, it's about 36 to 40 that we were paying.
we could always look to outsource that too, correct?
Yeah, it would be outsourced. We wouldn't be able to do it because it's a specialized type of truck, right? Yeah.
Which is what I thought was interesting in the article, when it talked about they're doing the house collection, but they outsource all the commercial stuff, right? Yeah.
We would basically become a commercial customer for all of our, municipal operations. Right, there's a dumpster right out here when you walk down, that comes and gets picked up by one that's not a residential
right.
collector.
That's what the school district's doing right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's other things that I think the commission should be aware of that, we haven't gone down that path, so.
I did a little more homework in the interim, just looking at costs and wanted to try to have something to look at. There's I'm sorry, I brought this and anybody wants to look at it. I just printed this out. I made this and I did not get a chance to put it on for everybody to look at, but just a couple of places that are for sale within the region. Everything from Carnegie and Brookline down to 84 in Houston. All industrial sites, all with buildings, pads, overhead doors, different size, different type. But generally, you're in the $1 million to $2 million range for that type of industrial property. And if you wanted to look them up, there's pictures as well. The one on Linwood, for instance, in 84, has huge overhead doors, inside warehouse. It's a garage already. It has outside covered parking, big laydown lot for turnaround space. All of these are existing industrial, either distribution, storage, sales and supply. That's the type of property I was looking for. Again, as we mentioned at my last meeting, going out and actually inquiring is an entirely different exercise.
Sure.
So, but I thought it'd be helpful to say,
No, I think it
if you
is.
said, hey, $2 million to acquire something, and you ran that out over, normal time, you now have something to go on.
Right.
And I think these are, the good news about these is the activity that's going on there is not near a neighborhood. It is all heavy industrial. Who knows what's going down the drain from one of our discussions.
Right.
Or what's being stored there.
Just say that.
It's not problematic to the extent that we'd be creating something out of nothing. So that was sort of my high level criteria there, so.
And then did we have, just out of curiosity, did we have a site for those that were looking at disposal costs that we could say, okay, it's distance from the public works yard, but what's the distance from that to the?
I think that would come into play too. Like
Yeah,
if
for sure.
you want one in 84, there's tons of them in Washington, but if you want one in Carnegie, there's one out towards the airport, I think it would kind of skew.
Right.
Save on fuel costs.
Right.
And then they're done at the end of the day and they go, reduce that mileage.
Yeah.
And yet McNeely is probably pretty close to the township line, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty tight site, but it was something that said, well, look, if you've had something that's nearby, it's got sort of that's an interesting site because it's actually got a car wash, so they're washing who knows what there. But it's got a warehouse and some flex space. Again, most of these have plumbing, some sort of office, so there's a place for administrative area. It's got a little bit of everything. Nothing perfect, but just some ideas of, based on the discussion.
The square footage is the property, the building?
Square footage is the building on the property. The acreage is noted where.
Oh, I see, acreage, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because we don't need 5 acres for 7 trucks.
No, but the idea of if we own it, we can always
Well,
build
that's true.
vehicles.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
It could be augment public works, or it could be something else.
Once we own it.
Salt storage or other supplies.
Once again, it depends on
Lease
distance.
it to somebody else.
That's true too, it could be something else. I think that the idea is that all of them have different pieces. And actually, when you start thinking about not just the size of the truck, but a turning radius, getting in and out of a space, if you imagine trying to pull right off on Washington, we'd be waiting all day. So things like that, and I thought that was helpful from the existing industrial site. Those are the types of vehicles that are coming and going on the regular, so made more sense to me.
Yeah.
And I like the acreage idea too, because if they go forward with it, the commission, and we do it, the idea is maybe other municipalities want in.
Correct.
And if we're able to,
Yeah.
we're able to have them subsidize us.
Yeah, right.
Now we need more space, we need more trucks, we don't have to start looking for real
Yeah,
estate
yeah,
again.
that's true.
Yeah.
Good.
Real quick, back to the question about fuel. I think, I don't remember where we landed at the end, but I know at one point we were looking at fuel, at least apples to apples with the current hauling location, and just trying to use that general experience. So that might be still what's in there.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. I was comfortable with reviewing what you guys did for the fuel side. So it's good. So next steps I'll include that in here as, probably a $1.5 million number, a 30-year, bond type number to kind of space that out. Do some inflationary piece of it. But what I would like to do is kind of get a draft out there of what our one-pager, executive summaries to say what we recommend the commission's next steps are. So just kind of wanted to use tonight to kind of get those ideas of things we would want to say, yes, we think there's further exploration that should be done, like we said, or not. Just kind of hear from you guys when it comes to that. And if it is, yes, then, the recommendation which we've talked about, which is to hire a true consultant to come in here and really fine tune all of it. So.
I mean, the unknown is what the next contract's gonna be.
Right.
Because, there's certainly the chance the next bidders are only gonna want the automatic pickup. And
Well, we know it won't be lower.
we know it won't be low. If the trend holds on, I mean, that 2029 number could be
4.8 million, 5.5 million, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And, so in-house you control certain things, but you don't control employee costs and things. You can really control it, but it's always gonna go up. But I think also then part of it would be you know, is there a strong feeling within the township that they don't want to go to automated pickup? You know? And I walk my dogs on trash night, and man, the stuff that people put out to the curb still, it's like, if they were limited to one bin, I think you'd have people going nuts here. So I mean, is there, even
Only
if it's.
take advantage of that when I need to.
Right, but I mean, it's, but I mean, like, let's say we can even do it at the same cost as what, you know, the current providers are, but we control how it's done and, you know, I mean, is that something you build into the recommendation? Because I think broad numbers, we're probably not gonna be beating the other ones enough that they'd wanna go through. This is I mean, to implement this is gonna be very time consuming, very, very costly. But is it worth it?
Well, and is it something where we need to give them multiple options depending on what their like critical factors are? Because to your point, like, if people are really gonna care about the bin or what the bin looks like, or the fact that you only have one bin, because there were feelings about that before. I remember you saying like that was a huge deal. And like what happened in Dormont and what that looks like on the road and like, you know, whatever, people have feelings about all of that. So just taking into, you know, consideration all those different factors, listing them out and saying, you know, if you care about your residents' opinions, the next step might be, you know, consultant, and you might want to do a survey. And if you care about the cost the most, like this is the path that you might want to, you know what I mean? Like option A, option B, option C, depending on what your top 3 criteria are, and doing it that way.
We would think this would probably be what the status quo number currently, how we have current set up with, you know, collection
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you go apples to apples now?
Well, plus you gotta add the other the dumpster pickup too, which is.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that
Apples to
right?
apples
That's
now might be.
500.
Yeah,
A,
because you
option
give
A.
people too many options. and
Yes,
they
well,
start-
that's 100%
They start going
true.
down the rabbit
Yep.
hole.
Yeah, I
You
wouldn't
do
say
that
any more
now?
than 3.
Yeah.
Well, you have what you're going to get and what you can contract for versus some flexibility.
Right.
Because you could do this and you could say, hey, we're gonna do more flexible or less flexible, or you can respond to those neighbor issues as they may, but you can't do that and it's set and forget it. And that may be that's the optionality that you could present to the neighbors or anything like that. It's like, we're going to continue to pay more, but we then have the ability to change based on what your needs are.
Because we all remember every time trash would change, is it 2 bags, is it 20 bags? Will they take the fridge, will they not take the fridge? Every company was different.
Right.
And even you could do the community outreach and have fees for that. You know, the whole drop off your electronics, use the community bins and charge a fee for that and offset some of the costs of the bins. Everybody has stuff they want to throw out that they can't.
Right. What else?
Thinking too along that line of flexibility that today we pay one price no matter what, right? So no matter how much refuse we're sending to the landfill, it's one price.
Correct.
So I think if we ever got to the place where we wanted to try and incentivize less material going to the landfill, if that's possible, I don't know. But if that, you'd benefit from that, right? You'd be paying less for dumping at the landfill, potentially less fuel for sending trucks on more runs. So I think that's kind of nice flexibility too.
It's also the inverse though, right?
Yeah, right, yeah, if people are throwing out more, then you're in trouble. Yeah.
So I mean, it works both ways. I'm kind of mixed on it, because I think it's somewhat a push either way. Flexibility, I think conceptually sounds good. I'm not sure it ever actually happens, and I think we start getting residents' input. Nobody likes to change.
No, that's true.
That's what you want it to be.
And you're gonna get people who are vehemently opposed or in favor. And there's gonna be 80% who are gonna be like, I just want to put my trash in the curb and walk
Yeah,
away
and
from
don't
it."
care.
So
Exactly.
that's a tough call
Make
to
it
know, right?
inflammatory.
So I mean, I hate to do it, but I always think you gotta have a more detailed analysis. I'm not sure how much that would cost, but I don't think you can eliminate it based on this, nor can you say, do it on this.
Yeah.
What you just made me think of is you almost have the municipality sort of has a built-in excuse. This is what it costs us. If you take it over, no more excuse.
Right.
You're gonna have to take it all and it good, bad and ugly. So at least you have someone to blame it on, the trash man. that actually might be worth it.
I mean, there is something about, you don't like the price going up, but there is something about the certainty too.
Right,
As
right,
you say,
right.
like,
It is next
you know,
man up, next truck,
Yeah.
next man, and that's where you said how they make money. Scale and paying nothing.
But that goes back to that compensation too. I think the expectation of the employees here is pretty high. So I think the level of service and the efficiency will improve.
Yeah,
With the supervisor, I mean, where these people are like, they're here, they're coming, they're not bad people, but there's sometimes you'll go like, hey, you didn't pick up my trash today. Oh, we'll get it on Thursday. Okay, you just accept it. Where now it's, whoa. I think it'll be a little more efficiently run.
Well, yeah, and you're gonna know Jim, because
Yeah.
Jim's gonna be your guide, he's gonna come every week.
But, and I know it's not perfect, but apples to apples, it's almost the same cost. But having maybe an increase in efficiency because you're compensating better and, like you said, end cost later on down the road.
Sounds like we have enough for a write-up on that, so just, these are the pluses and minuses, and I think you just circle which ones are most important to you.
What does ChatGPT say?
Has anyone asked? That's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we should-
what would it cost to bring in a consultant? I mean, are we talking like 30, 40 grand?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I mean, because I think that's not a big number in the scheme of things when you look at a $4 million cost annually. You know, probably someone who really knows this stuff well and.
Yeah, and I think, yes, I think we can do it.
The trash man cometh.
Well, but that's where the offset comes from you too, knowing the cost of labor here. Where they can easily come in and say, well, the industry standard is this. You might be like, whoa.
Yeah.
We're not
We
paying
do,
that.
we do
Well, then, so
different.
that's a give and take, I think, too.
Well, and they'll be able to look at the root analysis and say, okay, this is, they can do a more in-depth root analysis to understand
You missed
exactly
this,
what it is.
you-
No, you're
Yes.
insane, this part is.
Yes, yeah, and that, you know, that's where I think we need that help to say, if you really want that. In the trash studies we've done so far, which is pay as you throw, it's really only lived at a advisory level. We've never gone to a consultant level, so I think it's time for that. Because I think what people are noticing, that the ways of SHACOG or a COG bidding things is really starting to fade. That there's not a lot of bidders that like to bid on those things because it's an all-encompassing contract. There's so many things you have to account for if you're gonna bid a price,
No, yeah.
as opposed to, hey, we also could do SHACOG if you wanted to and commit to that. You could also just do it on our own. We're big enough that we can have some scale for them that says, okay, we know what your entity, and we don't have to bid anybody else.
Well, wouldn't you think too, these outside bidding companies, they overcompensate for that?
Absolutely.
Whatever company you ever said, hey, I think my patio will be 20 by 15, maybe 15 by 10, I'll let you know. As soon as you get that bid, they're bidding you for a 30 by 30 patio, even if they finished a 15 by 10. So I think some of these costs with them, we'll get a better idea, okay, what are we throwing out in poundage? What are we paying in fuel? And I don't fault them, they're a private company.
Right.
But what is the, I'll say graft, what is that spread that they're,
The flex between it, right?
yeah, how much are they really pulling in above and beyond what they're actually charging us?
The other nice thing about having a consultant, and we haven't not really done this, but I'm sure there are ways to optimize, and we really haven't talked about that at all. And they'll be able to say, well, sure, year one, it looks like this, but here's where you really get the benefits. It's not year one, it's not year two, it's year 7. In year 7, it looks like this, and we just don't know, they'll know that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question maybe is, there's probably no break-even point of cost versus, what residents like. So is it more of a, we have the flexibility, but you're gonna pay, I don't know, we're paying now $300 a house for trash collection, right? Is there, Mount Lebanon good with $400 a house, but you can do it the way you want to, right? What is that break-even point for the commission to say, okay, it's worth paying more to get happy residents, or is there a subsidized cost? Say if it's $400 a month, yeah, residents pay $300, we'll pick up the other $100.
Or it's 400 for the next 5 years as opposed to it being 300 and then 400 and then 500 and then 600 and then, whatever. So other stuff that a consultant.
Yeah, I would suggest if we're gonna make a recommendation, I think we have to say, we've done analysis, it's in the ballpark, but we're novices.
Right.
That's the next step, right?
And that's what they asked for. So we would be delivering them, hey, we've looked at it to our level of knowledge and expertise.
Use the word expertise.
Yes.
Is that what an S or a Z? Why do I feel like Jim's gonna bid on the consultant?
How much, 30,000? I'll do 25.
I'm an expert, I sat on the board.
Okay, sounds good. And that's what they asked for, so I think we'll be able to deliver.
Give them what
that
they
to them.
want.
Cool, and I will put these numbers in, send that out, and start getting a draft together for us.
I'll get you a couple more details. This is just me pulling high level, so just.
Yeah, which may not matter in the estimate, right? Plus or minus a couple hundred thousand. You're talking about bonding it out 30 years. It's not gonna move the needle one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. It might be another 150,000 a year in payments. Yeah, and on 3.7 million, not a whole lot.
And you haven't heard anything from, I know you have contacts in other communities, I mean, are they looking at this by any chance too, like the St. Clair or, no, they're just, okay.
St. Clair has been with Waste Management for a long time, so, and they went to automation early.
Yeah.
So, I haven't heard anything.
They're in year 7, reaping all those benefits.
They got the space for those big cans.
They do.
Don't have can envy, come on.
All right, so that'll be the plan for April, review that, get that finalized and get that delivered to the commission. So that's the work plan there. May, I do have an update for May. So May is our typical pension advisor, consultant coming in physically in person. And for Kevin and Tom, Perry has left PFM.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Did we scare him off?
Told you they would ask him the questions.
Yeah, I mean, we asked him questions, is that?
All the nerve.
No, we did not scare him off. He is still around. He is still doing the same thing, just for a different firm.
Seems like a fairly transient job.
Yes, yeah. Kind of back to the smaller boutique, personal level that they were doing. So we'll have somebody different. They will be here in May. It will not be Perry, but they will be here. So PFM there. So I think one of the things this board will need to look at a higher level is the Pension Investment Advisory Board in prior years had made a recommendation at the 5-year mark, which was 2020, for keeping PFM on. 2025 was the board transition, so we didn't have that. We bided that. So 2026, we probably need to meet as a board in the summer time frame when we have a meeting in the summer. We probably aren't going to meet in one of those months. But do we want to go through the RFP process for a new pension advisor? I'm not saying it's one person, but it may be time to go out. It's been 10 plus years now since we met. We went to the discretionary management model. It may be time. PFM's done a lot of good work for us since the early 2000s. It's nothing against them. It's just maybe time for us to do it. The commission, and I wish Ann was here for this, but the commission has, so this year, I would say if you did decide yes, it would not be this year, but because I have another RFP to do. Because the commission, and rightfully so, has said that for professional services, they need to go out in more of a cyclical manner. So I haven't RFP'd the audit services since 2016, I want to say. So it's been probably 10 years, maybe 2015. So it needs to be done. And we're doing it with other professional services as well, and there'll be more of a cycle. So for this specific case with the pension advisor, it may be us to say, hey, we're going to make a recommendation to do it, bring it before commission before to say we're making the recommendation to do it. It would be a 6 to 9 month process to do it. So the way we did it last time, just so that people are aware, we sent the RFP out. The original RFPs that came back, there were 9, were reviewed by myself and 2 other municipal finance directors to start. Then I brought people on from the pension board, brought 3 people on from the pension board to review our top recommendations. They could see them all, of course, but here are our recommendations and why, and then they interviewed with us when they went to the interview process.
So we went to 9,
We went to 3.
To 3.
To 3, yeah. We went to 3, and then the pension investment board members, 3 of them.
One of the 3.
Yeah, they were in the interviews. They basically led it because this is their, I would be looking to Kevin and Tom when, grilling them in the interview type of thing. Yes, we had standard stock questions, but, you really could decipher the data. so to speak, so. If we choose to go that route, that would be a 6 to 9 month process to do that, so.
Now, do you, in your process, will you default Peachum in the final cut just because they've done so well so long? But if their numbers don't line up to your liking, just eliminate them and move on before you even get to a cutoff? How do you do that? Like if you get 9 more proposals and you do you're running through your rigmarole,
Right.
and they don't qualify like
Right.
the other 3, would you just, hey, they're out? Or would you say, hey, they've been good, they've done well, we're gonna put them in just out of respect for the 20?
I think I'd probably do that, but I would default to, it's a team decision at that point, It was the recommendation of 2 outside municipal financiers that have no skin in the game, but they do the same thing, so let's take a look at it at that level, do some due diligence that way. We, any references we checked and, those types of things. And then we made the decision to bring them in and then just call them out for interview. And it was interesting at that time, the 3 we selected, the reason we selected PFM again was partly that, but it was partly because they all had different methodologies on passive managers and active managers. I was saying passive aggressive, but passive managers, active managers. They had different philosophies, and it was nice to compare and juxtapose in the interview process. So it was a good and beneficial process. But I wanted to bring that to the board's attention. So you will see somebody different in May, and we'll decide thereafter in the kind of part of the work plan for.
I think it makes sense, as you said, it's time anyway.
It is.
So it probably should be, I don't say a formality, but we'll.
Yeah, if they come out on top again, great, then you should
it's not-
validate it.
no issue.
Right, and if not, then.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's no different than calling about getting new insurance, right?
Yeah.
Just checking insurance.
Speaking of summer meetings, I know you're right, we normally don't have one, sometimes we haven't had 2, just depending on vacations and otherwise. Any insights or thoughts into that?
Not yet. Let's talk about.
Still early yet?
We can all go with Marty to Tampa.
Yes, we're gonna be in.
Almost do it there.
This is going to be, where in the world is Marty? Because he's been in all these big destinations.
Yeah.
But I'll bring, for those that RFP me, I'll have a draft of our old one, or the old one. We can work off of that. If we want to make that recommendation, we'll be ready for the commission to give us the go-ahead to start doing that in late 25, or late 26 to 27, yeah. I don't know what year I'm in right now. I'm in year-end financials. I'm in all of them right now, yeah. So, that's it. Okay. Anything else? Go in the order? Okay.
Second. Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Go forth.
See you, Marty, safe travels.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.